I want you to picture a scenario that I think is going to feel uncomfortably familiar for a lot of people listening right now.
Okay.
It's, say, 4:00 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're a manager, maybe a team lead. You have 3 emails in your inbox marked urgent in all caps.
Yeah.
You've got a project that is just bleeding money.
The usual chaos.
Exactly. And then you look up and there is a team member standing at your desk and they look like they've just seen a ghost. They have a problem.
And this is the moment of truth.
Right. And what's the instinct? The instinct is to be the hero.
Yeah.
You put on the cape.
Of course.
You grab the keyboard, you make the call, you fix the broken formula in the spreadsheet, you save the day. You go home exhausted, but you feel essential. You feel like if I wasn't there, the whole place would fall apart.
It feels like leadership.
Right.
It really does. It feels like being responsible. But what we're going to uncover today is that specific feeling, that impulse to be the fixer, is actually a massive warning sign.
Oh.
In fact, it might be the single biggest failure point for modern leaders.
That is a heavy opening. But we are going there today. Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
We are continuing our exploration of Gemba Ikigai, Leading to Serve by Mark Forkun.
And we are wading into the deep end of Section 3, leading through problem solving. Specifically, we're tackling Habit 10.
Habit 10.
Yeah.
The habit of being a problem-solving coach. And honestly, if you've been following along, this is the pivot point.
How so?
This is where we stop talking about self-reflection in the abstract and start talking about how you actually survive the work week without burning out.
Before we get into the mechanics of it, and we have some really wild analogies coming up involving monkeys, fishermen, and oxygenated beer.
Yes, we do.
We should probably clarify the context for anyone jumping in fresh. We're talking about Gemba Ikigai.
Right. So Gemba-go, it's a Japanese term used a lot in lean manufacturing. It translates to the actual place.
The place where the work actually gets done.
Exactly. Where value is created, the factory floor, the sales call, the design studio. It's where it all happens.
And Ikigai is that famous concept of reason for being or purpose.
So the book is about finding your purpose at the actual place where work happens. And Habit 10 is about realizing that your purpose there isn't to be the smartest person in the room.
It's what then?
It's to build a system that runs without you constantly hot-wiring the engine.
Okay, so Mark Forkun, the author, he claims there's a Toyota secret about this. He says it's a concept that even the big lean gurus usually gloss over. What's he talking about?
It's called the two-wheel concept, and it's deceptively simple, which is probably why people miss the depth of it.
Okay, paint the picture for us.
Imagine a vehicle like a cart or a car represented by 2 wheels connected by a solid axle.
Got it.
The right wheel represents business excellence. This is what you report to the board. Profit, KPIs, delivery times, all that stuff.
The stuff that gets you your bonus. The stuff everyone is obsessing over at the quarterly meeting.
Usually, yes. That's the glamorous wheel. But then you have the left wheel.
And the left wheel is?
Developing people. This is training, problem-solving skills, morale, engagement, and the axle holding them together. That's your leadership strategy.
Okay, visually that is super clear.
Yeah.
But here's the devil's advocate question. In most companies I've seen, that right wheel, the profit wheel, is the size of monster truck tire, and the left wheel is like a tricycle wheel.
That is unfortunately very accurate. And think about the physics of that. What happens if you have one giant wheel and one tiny wheel and you try to drive?
You go in circles.
You spin in circles. Or if the velocity is high enough, the axle snaps. The vehicle crashes. Forkun's whole point is that you cannot have sustainable high growth in business results with low growth in people development.
It's just physically impossible.
It's impossible to move the vehicle forward in a straight line.
So the leader's job isn't to push the car.
No. In this model, the leader sits at the axle. Your job isn't to force the wheels, it's to ensure they are synchronized.
So if the business demands higher speed,
You have to simultaneously speed up the development of your people to handle that pressure.
if you don't, you get burnout. The axle snaps.
Exactly. Sustainable growth means both wheels turn at the same speed.
That seems to be the catch, though. I think most managers know they should develop people. They know they need that left wheel. But when the building's on fire, nobody grabs a training manual. They grab a fire extinguisher. Why is it so hard to prioritize that left wheel?
Because the right wheel pays the bills today. The left wheel pays the bills next year. And humans are just terrible at delayed gratification. It brings us to that famous fishing proverb Forkun references. You know the one.
Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he never goes hungry. It's on every inspirational poster in every break room in America. It's almost a cliche at this point.
It is a cliche. But let's look at the reality of that proverb in a high-pressure office. An employee comes to you and says, I am hungry, or in business speak, I don't know how to finish this report.
Okay.
The manager looks at the clock. It's 4:13 p.m. The report is due at 5:00.
The manager does not have time to teach a fishing seminar.
Precisely. The manager says, look, I don't have time to teach you, just take this fish. They fix the report themselves, they hit the deadline, the right wheel turns. Success, right?
So in the short term, yeah.
Yeah.
The fire is out.
But the employee comes back tomorrow.
Hungry again.
And not just hungry, but dependent. They learned that the solution to being hungry isn't go fish, it's go to the boss.
Oh, man.
And this leads to my absolute favorite analogy in the entire book, the monkey.
I was waiting for this. The imagery here is just so good. Break down the monkey for us.
Okay, this is a visualization of delegation failure. Imagine every problem, every task, every issue an employee has is a living, breathing monkey clinging to their back.
Right. It's heavy. It's chattering.
It's annoying. So the employee walks into your office. They have this monkey on their back. Let's say it's a shipping delay. They say, boss, we have a problem. I don't know what to do.
And the hero boss steps in.
The hero boss says, don't worry. Leave it with me. I'll make a few calls. And you have to watch the physical transfer. The monkey literally jumps off the employee's back and lands squarely on the boss's shoulder.
The employee leaves feeling great.
They feel 50 pounds lighter. They walk out whistling. My boss is great. He's handling it. But the boss?
The boss now has one more monkey.
And if you have 10 employees and they each bring you one problem a day,
You're running a zoo.
you are carrying a zoo. You're weighed down. You're stressed. You can't move. And here's the kicker. While you are feeding all these monkeys, your own work, the strategy, the actual work is getting totally ignored.
It's a vicious cycle. Because you're so busy carrying the monkeys, you don't have time to teach people how to handle them, so they just keep bringing them to you.
Exactly. Habit 10 involves a painful mindset shift. You have to stop taking the monkeys.
It sounds harsh, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't bring me your problems. It sounds like abandonment, like you're just closing the door on them.
Well, it's not don't bring me problems. It's don't bring me the monkey expecting me to adopt it.
Okay.
You want them to bring the monkey in, show it to you, and then you say, wow, that looks like a heavy monkey. How are you planning to handle it? And what support do you need from me while you hold it?
So it's the difference between carrying the load for them and spotting them at the gym while they lift the weight.
Perfect analogy. You're the spotter. You ensure they don't get crushed, but you don't lift the bar for them. If you lift the bar, they never build the muscle.
Forkin uses a really specific case study to show what happens when you don't build that muscle. The story of the oxygenated beer. As a beer fan, this was tragic to read.
It's a painful amount of waste. So Forkin was consulting for a brewery, a massive operation, but they had a crisis. Week after week, they were pouring batches of beer down the drain because the dissolved oxygen levels were too high.
Which ruins the shelf life and the taste. It basically skunks it before it's even bottled.
Completely ruins it. Now, look at the leadership reaction. The managers, the heroes, were in panic mode. High-level meetings, expensive consultants, analyzing charts, yelling at suppliers.
They're trying to force the business excellence wheel to turn by sheer will.
They were. Meanwhile, the beer just keeps flowing into the sewer.
So what happened?
Then a planning manager, someone Forkin was mentoring to be a coach, finds a piece of paper. It was an A3 sheet, which is a standard lean problem-solving format. It was just sitting there, written by a morning shift operator named John.
Just a guy on the line, not a VP, not a chemical engineer.
Just John. And on this paper, John had written down exactly what was wrong. It was a specific seal on a valve that only acted up during pressure changes.
He knew.
He knew the whole time.
So why didn't he say anything? Why did they waste thousands of gallons of beer if John knew the fix?
Because nobody asked him. And perhaps more importantly, the culture didn't value his input. Management was so busy playing hero and solving the big strategy that they ignored the human intellect right in front of them.
This circles back to a concept we've touched on before, the waste of human intellect.
It is the 8th waste in lean, and it's often the most expensive. We hire people for their hands, to push buttons or type emails, and we treat the brain as this free, optional accessory.
But the brain is where the value is.
John's brain held the solution to $1 million problem, but the leaders were too busy looking at spreadsheets to look at John.
So the leader's job wasn't to fix the valve.
No, The leader's job was to create an environment where John felt comfortable and empowered to fix the valve himself, or at least raise the flag immediately.
This connects so many dots for me regarding the other habits we've discussed, like Hansei's self-reflection in habit 1.
Yes. Before you blame John for not speaking up, you have to do Hansei. You have to look in the mirror and ask, did I create an environment where John felt safe to speak? Or do I bite people's heads off when they bring me bad news?
Because if every time someone brings you a monkey, you scream about how annoying monkeys are, eventually they just stop bringing them. They just hide them in the closet.
Exactly. And that links to habit 15.
Andon. Remind us what andon is for those who might have missed that deep dive.
Andon is a signal. In a factory, it's a cord you pull that stops the line and lights up a board when there's a problem. In an office, it's just raising your hand and saying, I need help.
And in a hero culture, pulling the andon cord is seen as a failure. It means you messed up.
Right. Why did you stop the line? We have quotas. But in a coaching culture, the culture habit 10 is trying to build an andon pull is a celebration.
A celebration.
It's a teaching moment. The leader should rush over and say, thank you for showing me this problem. Now, how do we solve it together?
It flips the whole hierarchy upside down. Forkin talks about the inverted pyramid.
Most org charts have the CEO at the top, workers at the bottom. The inverted pyramid puts customers at the top, the value creators like John right below them, and leaders at the very bottom.
So the leader is the support structure, the soil, not the flower.
Correct. But let's get practical. I can hear the listeners, especially the stressed out managers, saying, this sounds lovely, but if I stop fixing problems today, my department crashes tomorrow.
Yeah. You can't just walk in on Monday and say, I'm not carrying monkeys anymore, good luck.
Yeah.
That isn't coaching, that's negligence.
It is. So Forkun gives us a transition plan. He outlines specific steps to move from hero to coach without crashing the car. The first step is nemawashi.
Mimawashi, another Japanese term. Sounds like it's from gardening.
It is exactly that. It translates roughly to preparing the roots or tilling the soil. In business, it means building consensus and preparing people before you make a change.
So you don't just spring the new strategy on them.
No. You sit your team down, you say, listen, I've realized I've been solving too many of your problems, and that is stunting your growth. I want you to be the experts.
I see.
So over the next few months, I'm going to start asking you for solutions instead of giving them. I'm doing this because I want to invest in you.
You frame it as a benefit to them, not just you trying to get out of work.
Exactly. You prepare the soil so the new way of working can actually take root. Once you've done that, you move to step 2, lowering the water level.
This is a classic lean metaphor.
Well,
walk us through the river and the rocks.
Imagine your operation is a river. At the bottom of the river are rocks. These are your problems. Inefficiencies, skills gaps, bad processes.
Okay.
Most companies keep the water level high. The water represents inventory, extra staff, extra time, or in this case, the manager stepping in to fix things.
Right. The high water covers the rocks so you can sail right over them.
It looks smooth, but the rocks are still there. You're floating over a minefield, basically.
Yeah.
Forkin suggests you deliberately lower the water, you remove some of the safety net, you stop fixing the small things immediately. When the water drops, the rocks break the surface. You hit them, it gets bumpy, it's scary.
But now you can see them.
And because you can see them and you can't float over them, the team is forced to crush the rock. They have to solve the root cause because the manager isn't there to just lift the boat over it.
That requires a lot of nerve from a leader to let the boat scrape the rocks a bit.
It does. It requires trust in the process. But if you never lower the water, you never improve. You just stagnate.
What about when the team is just burned out? We talked about high growth versus low growth earlier.
Yeah.
Sometimes you push for high growth and people just snap.
That leads to the third practical step, which Forkin calls, don't flog a dead horse.
A bit graphic, but clear.
It happens constantly. A team is exhausted or a process is fundamentally broken, but the leader just yells, push harder. Where's your grit?
We need to hustle.
But if the horse is dead or if the system is broken, whipping, it doesn't make it move faster. It just looks cruel and incompetent. A coaching leader knows when to dismount.
Dismount.
Stop the work. Take a breath. Analyze. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is stop doing. You have to say, we are grinding gears here. Let's pause, let's rest, and let's figure out a better way to do this.
That goes right back to the 2 wheels. Resting the team is part of maintaining that left wheel.
Precisely. And there's one final mindset rule that ties all this together. It's the antidote for the perfectionist manager.
I think I know a few of those.
The rule is expect progress, not perfection.
That is tough for high performers.
It's excruciating. But think about the fishing analogy. If you're teaching someone to fish, are they going to cast the line perfectly the first time?
No, they're going to hook a tree or tangle the line or catch an old boot.
Right. And the hero manager sees the tangled line and says, "Oh, for goodness sake, move over, let me do it." The coach manager looks at the tangled line and says, "Okay, that didn't work. Why? What will you do differently next cast?"
You have to accept the messiness of learning.
You have to accept 80% solutions. If an employee brings you a solution that is 80% right, let them run with it. The confidence they build from that success is worth more than the 20% perfection you would have added by doing it yourself.
You're investing in their capability, not just buying a result.
You're playing the long game. You aren't paid to be the smartest person in the room anymore. You're paid to make everyone else in the room smarter.
That's the quote for the LinkedIn post right there.
It changes the definition of success.
As we wrap this up, I want to circle back to one final concept Fortune leaves us with. It's a bit of a sting in the tail for leadership. We've talked about John the Operator and the monkeys. But where did the monkeys come from?
Yes. The concept of Mura.
Mura. Define it for us.
Mura means unevenness or irregularity. In a factory, it's when the production line speeds up and slows down wildly. In an office, it's the chaotic workload, the fire drills.
And we usually blame the market or the clients or the employees for that chaos.
We do. But Mura suggests that most of that unevenness, the erratic deadlines, the last-minute changes, the stress, is actually generated by leadership decisions.
Ouch. So the monkeys.
You might be the one breeding the monkeys.
That is a confronting thought.
If you're a leader who constantly changes your mind or delays decisions until the last minute or sets unrealistic targets without resources, you are the source of the Mura. You are the arsonist complaining about the fire.
So Habit 10 isn't just about coaching others. It starts with coaching yourself to stop creating the chaos in the first place.
If you want to stop carrying monkeys, stop handing out bananas, look in the mirror, stabilize your own behavior, and you will see the team's stress levels drop automatically.
Well, that gives us plenty to think about on the drive home. We've gone from hero to coach, from carrying monkeys to spotting weightlifters, and we've hopefully saved some beer along the way.
The mission is clear. To lead is to serve, and to serve is to develop your people so they don't need you to be the hero.
If this deep dive resonated with you, or if you are currently looking at a zoo of monkeys in your office, you're going to want to stick around. Our next deep dive is looking at Habit 11, knowing the numbers.
We're going to talk about how to use data without becoming a robot. Transparency is key. You can't manage what you don't understand.
Make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to see these concepts visually, like the two-wheel diagram, check out the Kaizen Made Easy YouTube channel. But honestly, pick up Genba Ikigai Leading to Serve on Amazon. Mark Fortune goes into way more detail on the Numawashi process than we could cover here.
It's a blueprint for sanity. Highly recommended.
Thanks for listening. Now go find a monkey and gently give it back to its owner.
And keep those wheels turning in sync.
See you next time.